Today's question is, Anthony, if I'm not focused on weight loss, how do I measure progress? First of all, I love this question because so many people, when they come to fitness, just think, you know what? I'm just doing this to lose weight. Our goal is to get you to think about, let's not focus on just losing weight only. Fitness and life is about so much more than how much you weigh. All right, that number on the scale does not define you, and it's usually a number that's been predetermined by culture. And why do you let other people's opinions and culture define your value? We encourage people to forget about the scale. Yes, if you want to improve, lose weight, that's fine, but let's not be so focused on it that that's our only measure. So, if you're not focused on weight loss, how do we measure progress? Well, there's actually a lot of ways. One is to think about, instead of what do I look like to measure progress, as to what can I do? What can I accomplish? So if we think that route, let's think, am I getting stronger in certain lifts? Maybe a squat or a deadlift or maybe a push-up. What we like too is even, how well am I moving? Let's take an exercise, and can I do it more smoothly, with more control, with more grace? And I measure it that way. Now that may seem like, Anthony, how do you measure grace and control? But trust me, you can feel it. And you have to be aware of what you're doing, and you have to be thinking about the movements that you're taking part in, and not just mindlessly doing exercise for exercise sake. So a good example that I like would be what we call a tripod. A tripod is a good exercise where you can measure how well you're doing at it, because if you get off balance, you can tell if you're rushing it or if you're doing it well and you're in control. So tripod, you just basically sit on the ground, one knee is bent, one leg is straight. You take your hand and you just push the floor down, and your hip and heel come off the ground at the same time, and then you bring your knee up and set it back down right behind that hand. And then you just reverse it. Pick that knee up, kick it out, sit down gently. If you can do that both sides well, then that's a measure of progress. Most people struggle a little bit. They get unbalanced, or they drag their foot, or they kind of lose their stability there. So that's something you can use to improve. Another thing would be even like, we like to use exercises on balance beams, which we use a 2x4. You can just walk across. You can carry a weight, maybe farmer walk or suitcase carry across that balance beam. You can even do that tripod now on a balance beam. So now you're also measuring progress. This is how stable you feel and how well you're moving in that exercise. And there's probably a million examples you can think of, but focus on how well am I moving? Am I improving in my efficiency, in my grace, in my movement? And then you can also focus on, am I moving more load without sacrificing the quality of that movement? So those are two great ways you can measure progress. Try those out. Change that mind from just numbers on a scale to how much better am I? How much more capable am I? So until then, move better, train smarter.